Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1M, as you know, is the first global virtual accelerator for technology startups in the world. We started in 2010, and these roundtables, done in support of the 1M mission of helping 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue, have been going since 2008. We started with an experiment in 2008 of online mentoring. That became successful, and that led us to the 1M program. So this is the 697th roundtable. We've had more than 300,000 people participate from around the world. And it's been an amazing opportunity to learn from entrepreneurs everywhere what's happening in their corner of the world, what are they doing, and just see an incredible entrepreneurship ecosystem developed. And Bharat just got in the room. It looks like his password problem is solved. Yesterday, Bharat and Chinmay were at my place, and we were talking about these two entrepreneurs in the last couple of roundtables that we met. From India, very young, 19-year-old, 21-year-old kids, and it was just, incredible to see in rural or small town India, Jhansi, a kid from an engineering college. I was just so happy to see all this, infiltration of entrepreneurship into every corner of the world. So we're going to start today with a conversation with Jean-Philippe JP Persico. I imagine you prefer going by JP.
I do, yeah.
JP is managing partner of shuckerVC. We met on LinkedIn, haven't had a chance to actually meet. So this is our first meeting. JP, welcome. It's great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So since this is your first appearance here, let's start with a bit of introduction about your background, about shuckerVC, and then we'll delve into your investment thesis.
Sure. So my background, I'm originally from Switzerland. I grew up in a small town between the three big cities, Basel, Bern, and Zurich. And basically my whole life I was in technology. Since age 6, I've had a computer. I started with an IBM. And basically, my dad brought home computers from his work. He worked for a big oil company, and just every single time they pretty much switched, I think almost every 9 months at that point in the 80s. He just brought the old computer home, and I started taking it apart, figuring out how it works, put the DOS on there, and basically always loved technology from a really young age and building things. Then went to a apprenticeship in a commercial business. From there, I became a software engineer, basically running a whole floor of traders that trade electricity from one country to the other. It was one of the great providers in Switzerland. And then I went to college after that, did some military service as well in between, but went to college, and in college I studied business administration, so super boring. And met my wife, who is American, which brought me to the US. And basically in 2015, I started my investment journey. I became a corporate venture capitalist for Bosch, which turned out to be kind of random to start that within Bosch. But at the end of the day, I took over the corporate strategy department for our North American division. And one of the challenges was like, you need to figure out how we can grow from the outside without buying companies. And the goal was to invest into companies. So at that point, I started investing into software companies, and that basically brought the journey from software engineer to consultant to transformation consultant within Bosch to strategy to then venture capitalist. Ended up having a $200 million P&L as well at Bosch, so had a ton of fun, and joined the venture studio right after Bosch, or I left Bosch for a venture studio, which brought me to the Bay Area. And then, the rest is history. Venture studio was interesting, but I really missed the investing side. So we started shuckerVC in 2024.
And what how big is shuckerVC's fund, and what is the investment thesis?
Sure. So Graham and I have met 15 years ago, and when we started shuckerVC, we had one goal. We wanted to do a bit of a differentiated way how to bring value to entrepreneurs early on in the pre-seed and seed stage. So we said we're going to build a $10 million fund that invests into B2B software companies, and in the pre-seed and seed stage, mostly US domestic companies. And we built that on my track record as a investor prior to shuckerVC. I had a 3.08 DPI track record. So it was really important for us to showcase that we have investing experience. And we're taking the operator experience from my co-founder, Graham, who launched a fundamental AI company together with 3 neural scientists, engineers, and basically AI fundamentalist engineers. And what they did is building a really interesting company. They raised over $130 million, and he left them due to the fact that he didn't want to be a manager in the say of like managing 1 million people. He really wanted to build from 0 to 1, and that was kind of our goal. If we invest into a company, we want to help them to really focus on engineering a product and not giving them just money and say, oh, talk to our advising network, that's fine. So when we started
So what
yeah.
size, when you say you do pre-seed and seed,
Mhm.
what check size and what do you want to see in the company in terms of proof points to want to write checks?
Great question. So pre-seed proof point for us is really more on the technology side and the team side. So who is the team? Is there a single CEO? Is it like a couple of co-founders? And what are they targeting from an industry perspective? What kind of software are they building? And do they have a certain first indicators that what they're building has, I would say, minimal product market fit, not really a product market fit yet. On the seed stage, we do really look at product velocity. So we really closely follow the startup over a 4 to 6 week process where we assess how fast can they build their overall product and features and what kind of signals do they get from their customers. Our check size varies between $100,000 and $500,000 in that case, so between pre-seed and seed, to answer your question there too.
And within B2B, you said you're doing B2B software. Could you double click down? Is it mostly AI that you're doing right now? Is it?
Yeah. I mean, you can't get away from AI, especially in the Bay Area. Yes, absolutely. It can be agentic, it can be AI. What we really care about is if AI is used, it has to be used in a way that is kind of hidden, or the UI has to really be supportive of the experience the user has with the software. So we do not generally enjoy seeing AI integrated as a prompting / chat experience into a software solution. We actually do have in our fund a thesis that we believe that AI is kind of the gateway to the next GUI, because we believe that the mouse and the keyboard might be over and pressing buttons might be over, but your overall GUI will completely change because AI can predict certain things and can prescribe others. So that said, we really look to companies who can hide their AI as much as possible in the experience for the user.
So let's do some case studies. You've invested in companies already, yes?
Yeah.
So let's talk about some companies that you've invested in. And while you're telling the stories, tell us how you met them, in what stage, what did they have when you met them that made you want to write the checks?
Sure. Let me go through our first company. We met them through our network. They're a Series Seed company. They were raising $2.5 million at that point. 3 people in the team, CEO led, 2 engineers. And really what drove us to invest into the company are 2 things. We felt that the technology had itself a moat, not only because it was patented, because patents don't mean much.
And what is the business?
It's called Algorized, and it's a female founder called Natalia Lapareva Algorithm's first business they showed us was basically building an edge AI algorithm which goes on sensors. So they built the software, or you can call it a firmware to be more specific, that they can deploy to sensors that are in our world. That could be a sensor such as a radar sensor, it could be a Wi-Fi module, it could be an ultra-wideband sensor. And her software basically enabled these sensors to become more powerful with what they see. So with her software, she could actually detect heart and breathing rate out of people through walls and understand where people stand, how tall these people are, what kind of motions they have. No one has ever been able to do that. So when we met her, her first use case was, hey, I'm going to put this into cars because cars need to understand if there's human life starting in 2026 by regulation. So basically, if we all know that there is babies dying every year in cars because the cars are overheating, and there's not really been a solution to that. And like the seatbelt, the solution to that has to be that car manufacturers build person detection modules within the cars. There's multiple ways car manufacturers are doing this today. One is by pressure indicators in the seats, where you know how heavy something is in the seat, and therefore you can say that there is something there. We both know that that's not sufficient, because if a box is in the car or if a human is in the car, it might have the same pressure. The other way, like Tesla has done it, is by having a camera in the car and looking at if there is a human via ML, understanding, okay, I see pictures, these look like human, I identify them with human. Also not really reliable, because we all know if you have small kids, they have dolls. If a doll lays on the seat, the camera might identify it as a human as well. So you really need to have something that actually understands that there is a pulse, or better said, there is a heart rate and a breathing rate. And Natalia was able to create basically a software that can translate really random / unusable pictures from these radars, and is able to identify people and their vitals. And we saw a huge opportunity in this. We saw an opportunity in healthcare. We saw an opportunity in manufacturing. But where, in my opinion, it's kind of also like you always think about the things the low-hanging fruit, I will call it, and you see these things right away. Oh, there's a huge TAM, which we haven't even noticed before. And the most important TAM, which has been emerging over the last 6 months, is really the robotics and humanoid TAM. So where can she go in? One big problem with robots today is that cameras, LiDAR, and radar only tell you that there is an object, but they don't tell you if this object is moving and if it's moving towards you or not. It's completely random, because it's just sensors that basically take in milliseconds pictures and understand what's happening, but they don't know if the object is alive, or if it's another robot, or if it's something else. And we see a huge opportunity in that space, because with her technology, we believe that for the first time, robots and humans don't have to have, say, safety fences in between anymore when they are in a manufacturing facility, or when they are coexisting.
So, how much of this was in place when you wrote the check?
So the code was in place. The business model was not there. She didn't know how to sell this. She had a ton of requests from chip manufacturers, but she didn't know how to price it. But the technology worked. And what Shocker does, basically, when we write a seed check, we bring one person into the company as a resource for the company to manage HR, finance, marketing, recruiting, accounting. So really pretty much everything but product and engineering. And Natalia really wanted Shocker to be on her cap table due to that effect. She basically is like, I'm a third-time founder. The last thing I need right now is starting to try to hire a marketing person, an HR person. I just need engineers, and I need more engineers. And she had 17 venture capital firms bidding for that to be on the cap table, and we were one of them, next to Amazon.
Okay. And let's do one more. one more example of what you've invested in, and
Sure.
then we'll talk about
Take
some general stuff.
our latest investment, Atlas. It really goes into that deep software B2B aspect. Atlas has I've met them through the 500 Global mentorship program. I'm a mentor at 500 Global, and when I first met them, I was like, "What exactly are they doing?" And the more and more we talked, I saw that there are two tremendous domain experts in the product management space, and one problem they're solving is how do software companies price themselves to the market? So they basically are thinking about pricing as many of us who have gone to business school have learned with the 4 Ps. They are doing that for software, where place is the normal SaaS distribution model, so software as a service. But then how do you price it? How do you promote it? And how do you actually get the person to understand what features you have? They really build an agent that lives in software that helps you identify how people are using software or your software and how people are actually attached to certain features, so you can upsell them, you can build on these features, and you can cross-sell them as well. The other aspect they have looked into is, like, as agents are becoming more evolved, how do you actually sell an agent? Do you sell an agent as a resource, like you hire a person, or do you do an outcome based, where you basically say, hey, now you don't have this HR payroll problem anymore, or it's not a problem. I would say now you might need less people to do more. So instead of thinking it as payroll, think about it as an outcome we can deliver. Should we price it as a certain percent of how much money we are generating for you, or how many hours you're getting more to do more? So they're really thinking about pricing in a way for the future, and not into like the Chinese menu where you pick and choose and then get a price, or the typical SaaS where you have basic, small business, enterprise, and platinum. They really think about it more holistic on the outcome base.
So this is very interesting and a very interesting subject right now. You know, if you look at companies like ServiceNow and Atlassian, who are doing agents extensively, they are taking the perspective of kind of building the agents into their subscription. They're not doing usage-based pricing or impact-based pricing. And I've talked to some startups also. I was talking to a cybersecurity startup that is also using agents extensively in their software, but it's all being built into the subscription. And what I'm hearing from them is that the buyers prefer the predictability and the regularity of what they're budgeting. What are you seeing in the market through the lens of this company? What are you seeing in the market?
It's really interesting. I do agree that there is a perspective of a predictability and the budgeting aspect. We've seen the same when we went into cloud computing, where people were used to have their own storage in their like server rooms in their business, to then going, oh, now I have to buy bandwidth, or now I have to buy compute or CPUs or online. So there's always been this whole like, what are the unit economics, and the tension between the buyer and the seller has existed not only during AI and during tokens, but also pre-tokens. So what we are seeing is there is definitely a wave towards how can I price this that it is feeling like a one price or a unit economics I can sell internally. What we're also seeing is it's going away from a seat-based pricing. The seat-based pricing is really hard to sell when you start having agents doing things across different users. So there is definitely the discussions about outcome-based pricing have started quite significantly. You called it impact-based pricing when you asked the question, but at the end of the day, it's still hard to find the right like the best alternative way you actually negotiate in this. But on the other hand side, when we talk to the startups and we talk to our pricing startups, they see that startups are getting smarter in how to talk to customers, and due to the technology they can use, they can make pricing more customized. So I think we'll see in the future a bit even less transparency on the pricing. You've obviously already seen that in the last
This
three,
is
4
a bit
years.
this is a bit counter to what constitutes good venture scale startups, right? Which is repeatability. You
No,
know,
not really, because at the end of the day, if your revenue grows month over month, and your revenue growth outgrows your cost growth, so if you like do an agent and you have way too many token costs and you're not getting enough money, and then we have a problem with venture scale returns in the future if you don't solve that problem. But at the end of the day, what's important is you want to see the ICP come back. And I think, to your point, it's less about venture scale returns than more about how do you use KPIs to actually assess these companies in the future.
yeah, I
There's a
think
lot of different KPIs in that SaaS world. We might need to redefine these KPIs in the future.
yeah, I saw the movement away from licensed software to software as a service in front of my eyes. We've been covering this for a long time, and I've been in this industry for a long time. So that shift happened, and it took a while for the market to shift to that, but the public market loved that. Then initially there were very few software as a service companies. Salesforce.com broke through, and then Wall Street fell in love with the software as a service model, repeatable, very predictable. It's MRR, ARR, predictability. They loved it. But
Yeah,
I think we're going away from that, and I think there are leading indicators that we're going to go away from that.
I think so. I think it's important to stress what SaaS really brought to the table, because SaaS was more a distribution model of software, not a licensing model of software. Versus the software was distributed before via packages that you requested from your software vendor, and you basically bought licenses in bulk and then installed these licenses on premise. SaaS went to a cloud-based model where you basically had the opportunity to really quickly change features on the usability of your user base. But at the end of the day,
that's from the delivery model side, yes. That's from the delivery model perspective. But some of the great adoption of SaaS came because of the pricing model.
yes, absolutely.
CFOs loved it. Wall Street loved it. VCs loved it. The predictability and the repeatability was and predictable revenue, recurring revenue became very attractive. Anyway, it's a longer conversation, and I have 3 other people that we're going to be working with. So it's great, JP. It's great to meet you. We will see each other on LinkedIn, and then we'll have you back in a few months when we have, the market is moving so fast. So we'll have a lot more to talk about. Yes?
Sounds good. Good to meet you too.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Folks, we are switching to the entrepreneur pitch session. It is a safe working session. This is not entertainment, it is work. And you can, if you're pitching for the first time, in public roundtables, most of you who are not members of the premium program will be pitching only once. You please know that I'm on your side. We are all on your side. There's absolutely no other agenda but to help you accelerate. If you disagree with my feedback, that's entirely your prerogative. You can do whatever you want. Today, we're going to start with a premium member. Bharat is going to pitch. Bharat's team is here as well. Bharat has been in the premium program in 2018-19 timeframe and is back in the program. He has done an amazing execution. The company is at 6 million in revenue and is completely bootstrapped and is just about to go out to raise money. I just met with them yesterday. and we're going to work on their pitch before we send them out for fundraising. So Bharat, please get started with your pitch, and let's work through what needs to be changed, but go on. You're on mute.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was muted by the guest. Okay, host. So, I was just telling it's been 6 years almost where I was part of one of this public session before I became a premium member. And we were actually pitching and you giving us feedback in terms of what should be the ICP, how do you actually get into an organization, what's the buyer cycle look like, what is the value look like. A lot of it actually helped us in the journey. And I, at some point of time, we always kept that in mind and went ahead and kind of started to build what we wanted to build and build much beyond what we wanted to build. And that gives us a great feeling of satisfaction where we've come so far, bootstrapped, and now we are ready to show that this is what we've accomplished, the value that we've generated, and we feel we are at a point of time where we can actually scale this in a very, very large way, funded by VCs. Okay.
Go ahead.
So let me just start with the vision that we have right now. What we see and foresee with our platform is that we would like to be like the Android of causal AI, which is kind of helping businesses, industries using causal intelligence to make decisions better. And we feel that our new patent pending large causal architecture model actually helps people in actually getting that democratizing causal intelligence. And we have got great traction in terms of how we're going about it. We work with large enterprises um, across the board to generate that $5 million revenue. We are profitable. And most importantly, what we believed so far for the past so many years, the causal AI-based intelligence systems or decision-making systems are poised to grow from almost $40 billion a year to almost $800 billion by 2033. We are very excited about to be in this space where we can enable developers, businesses, utilize the intelligence of causal AI to make decisions. And that's where we're starting. Yeah. So if you look at it, and of course, like everyone would know that there is AI everywhere, there is, use cases of AI everywhere. But if you look at what AI is or understood by a lot of people, it is predominantly LLM models, generative AI models, which actually understand the what of everything that exists out there, which is primarily all the information, all the knowledge that's out there in World Wide Web in the form of web, text, visuals, audio is all built into it. But what the systems don't understand is the other dimension of AI, which is to understand the why, so that people can really understand why something is happening, which leads to the next level of intelligence in terms of imagination, what if, and optimization. That's why when we started our new launch of this model, we said the future of intelligence isn't artificial, the future is curious, which is primarily what we thought is in terms of causation, connectedness, and imagination. To solve for the problem, we actually found a large causal model which actually understands the why and helps you do what ifs and optimization. Like I said, the market is a hugely poised to grow to a $757 billion market. Um, and as per the Gartner's hype cycle, decision intelligence is just becoming the, at the innovation trigger and becoming the next big AI cycle. And in terms of provability or verified traction, we've got Fortune 500 companies like Unilever, Mars, Kraken working with us to make billion-dollar decisions on their businesses, to grow their businesses, brands, and that gives us great confidence that that can be scaled to a entire world of decision making. Yeah, like I said already, we've got 5 million ARR, 80% gross margin, profitable from 2021. Maybe we took Shramana's ideas very seriously to be, profitable and bootstrap before we can actually venture scale it. Our retention is very high, both of clients and people. Um, and we've not done marketing so far. All of it is purely word of mouth. We work across, like I said, CPG, media, auto, retail, e-com, uh, multiple accounts, like I mentioned earlier. A very strong pipeline, almost helping us double the revenue from where we started in 2025 organically. And the beauty is, which with large causal optimization, or so large causal model, we have now companies building products on top of our model in different markets right now, finance and media, where the companies are building products on top of our application and selling it to those markets. Yeah, Maureen, we can go to the next. Yeah. So to just give you a little more sense of, the problem statement that we explained, right? Like I explained, causation is a phenomenon which is universal. Whether it's, if you look at it from healthcare, finance, climate, business, any use case, like I said, the present AI can only solve for what's. So it can tell you how patient mortality is 12%, what happened to business, why it dropped, what happened to the business, etc. But it is not able to tell, like in terms of business, why the sales drop, why the customer churn increase, what factor is creating that, and hence how do we actually control the churn, how do we actually improve the sales, and what can we do to grow this business. Or it can be finance in terms of how do we increase our alpha, or how do I reduce my loan defaults. Any use case on decision making or understanding why requires the causal AI. And that's for that exact reason we built Found, which is our large causal model, which is next slide. Yeah, before we go into what we found as solution, if you look at the market as per the Grandview study, presently the market is at 40 billion. Really poised to grow, because we believe all decision making will become part of causal AI and or large quant causal AI. Huge enterprise requirement moving from correlation to causation, which we kind of experience on a day-to-day basis. Regulatory demand of utilizing explainable AI in EU, uh, and adding causal layers to all information-based stuff. So we kind of believe that this is going to be a big next wave of what's going to transform the world in terms of decision making, understanding the world better. And to kind of get to this, we created what is called Found. The next slide, where uh, we infused uh, the foundational layer, deep learning and neural networks, which kind of power even LLMs too. But deep learning and neural networks are used primarily to learn language and visuals in LLMs, but we use the same technology to actually build understand data patterns and the whys. And we add the causal inferencing layer, which actually helps to distill out the whys of the data, and then helps you to optimize and scenario planning using the optimization algorithm that we built into the system. So that's Found, which is primarily what it is. And if you look at Found's capability, we've tested it against two kinds of challenges. One is on the left, a retail sales challenge, which kind of been available on Kaggle since 2020. Everyone attempts it because that's kind of super intelligence equivalent of retail. Uh,
Mhm.
so Google attempted it on 2024, Amazon attempted it around the same time. The winner who was there is a 2021 winner who is actually there from 2021. We've used our model to kind of test it out, and Kaggle told us that we've beaten the winner's score in 2025 when we uploaded the model. And the beauty is that the winner in 2021 used 200 submodels to get there, and we could do it with one single model. And on the right side, you see we benchmarked against all the different foundational models which work in time series across the same datasets that they've used. And you can see that we've kind of beaten all the benchmarks in terms of error metrics across different timestamps and different datasets,
Mm.
which gives us confidence that the causation works. Because that's what makes the difference in terms of why we are beating compared to what a Google or a Salesforce or a Intel was doing in their foundational models. Yeah. And the way we see the world is we believe that causal decision making is going to be the core of any decision making. We started with our enterprise success where we built Poem 365 on top of Found with enterprise data. And we've seen in terms of retention, in terms of growth, explainable growth for organizations wanting to do more with us year on year. And on top of it, we also want to that's for enterprise, which is 0.55. And then on the top of it, we see causal decision making enablement through developers as well as individual subject matter experts through vibe modeling or API use case to build their products. Like I mentioned earlier, where hedge fund companies are building products on top of it to actually build their own applications, or people like business analysts, subject matter experts can actually build their products and applications using just vibe modeling. Like how people do vibe coding, they can do vibe modeling and build their own causal model. Those are the two dimensions of how we want to take it to the market and scale. One is with enterprise Poem 365 and enabling causal modeling through Found. Those are the two engines that we see. A Poem 365 is already built, clients are using it, that's already in place. The phase two, which is what we're entering right now, is to build the developer ecosystem and the vibe modeling. And then phase three is where we see people actually building multiple causal applications on top of Found, and that kind of become marketplace for where people can actually buy into different causal applications for their use cases. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, so we're looking at scaling, $10 million in Series A, where we would like to utilize the money to accelerate our enterprise Point 365, as well as our vision of democratizing causal AI like Android through a platform play, which is starting with enterprise revenue, vibe modeling, as well as using developer tools, right? The way we see, like I said in the beginning, we started with 3.6, almost doubling by the end of this year. And we see with the platform play and the enterprise momentum that we have, we'll get to 19 million by 26 and kind of tripling it from there, because platform and enterprise are accelerating in 2027. That's how we see this game playing. And like we said, the beauty of the way we're able to do this is the core team stayed forever together. We have a 15-member core team, which is kind of there for almost 4 years from now, which is we have almost no attrition there. And even the team that we're building, close to 60-member team, we have a 6% attrition, which is really, which really gives the testimony of our belief and the team's belief in what we're building. And we are very, very proud of what we're doing. And we have a combination of domain experts, AI experts, and engineering experts building this to kind of build our vision of how can we be the Android of causal AI in the next 5 years. Yeah, that's it in terms of how we would like to see our world grow year on year, almost becoming Android for causal AI on enterprise and other industries together.
Okay. First and foremost, you did this presentation in about, what, 20 minutes?
Yeah, close to me.
It's a very good presentation and very crisp, very powerful. Let me give you some feedback to just tighten things up.
Yeah.
When you start the pitch, the first thing that you should hit home is that this is an enterprise product.
Yeah.
Right. So now there is a bit of it's not fully an enterprise product. It is an enterprise product as it stands now.
Correct.
But then you also have people who are developing on your system to cater to hedge funds, for instance. Hedge funds are not enterprises. They're actually small shops managing large amounts of money. So that's not exactly an enterprise application, but that's the platform business. So I think what the way to maybe you can upfront say that we have currently our business is an enterprise business.
Correct.
What we have built so far is an enterprise business. We have also developed a platform which we want to bring to market, and we are starting to see adoption of the platform, which is going to take us into other B2B applications run by developers who are building on top of our platform. That is not a market that we're going to go into directly, but we are going there because we do have a platform play coming together.
Yeah.
So just kind of articulate that, because otherwise, at some level, causal AI is not exactly constantly being discussed, right? In
It's
conversations.
Not,
You're trying to take ownership of a blue ocean strategy. So it's kind of what's really powerful, and you get no argument, is you have 5 million ARR bootstrapped, and it's enterprise, large enterprise customers. And just in that first slide, you will say we have large enterprise customers like Unilever, Mars, and so on. Just say that right away so that you grab attention immediately.
Yep.
Now, the main thing, if you look at your presentation, the main thing that you need to fix is the market sizing. $757 billion is a top-down TAM.
Yeah.
Investors do not care about top-down TAM. They want to see bottom-up TAM. So the fastest way for you to fix that is go into the curriculum, go through the TAM analysis, the market sizing module, and just implement that and come up with a bottom-up TAM.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the major, very precision surgery that we need to do on this. I like the presentation. That's one thing that we have to fix before sending this out.
Sure.
Because investors do not like top-down TAM.
Got it.
Okay, so second thing that I observed, just because I know your business, when you say 80% of your current business is CPG, you should articulate what kind of applications. Largely, it's in media planning, brand management kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, revenue growth management.
Revenue growth. So you may want to explain what kind of applications, because $5 million bootstrap revenue that is ready to be replicated is very substantial. You're walking in with enormous credibility. And on your first slide, you have established that credibility. And even before the meeting, the introductions that I'm going to make for you to the investors, I will say it in my words.
Yeah.
So they will have all that credibility. You're walking in with huge credibility. This is why I teach this method, is that you walk in like a king. You're not walking in like a beggar. You are the king in this conversation. There's no question.
Yeah.
So VCs are going to fall all over themselves to fund you. But the thing that you want to help them understand, right? You're helping them understand what is the use case around which you have generated $5 million in revenue. And then there is another thing that you have done here is achieved repeatability. You don't make any mention of that. This is a slide, and you want to do that early on. You should say, so by the way, you will have a recording of this presentation, so you may want to listen to it. We are on the third slide. We are the first slide. You've already said that you have 5 million in ARR and these big name customers. You've already rattled out names of customers. In the second slide, you will establish the market size. We're going to fix that market size model, and then we're going to establish the market size, which is going to be in the billions, but it's not going to be 757 billion. That's too high.
Yeah.
Then we are in the third slide, and we are now presenting. These are great. I mean, it's awesome. You have average contract value, customer acquisition cost, lifetime value, retention rate. Fantastic. The only thing missing from this picture is you have 80% CPG customers, and that's the use cases are mostly in revenue growth, in brand management, in brand marketing, media planning, and so on. You want to articulate that, and you would want to say that in CPG, we do, pilots with one brand, and then the CPG company would give us, 10 brands or 15 brands to manage. So that it starts with a POC that's in the, 6-figure, but then soon becomes a 7-figure deal as soon as we get multiple brands to manage. Absolutely. So there is great, and you want to use the word repeatability.
Correct.
Absolutely. It's like we have in the $7 million pipeline that you're talking about, you are already in POC in these accounts. And they are going to go the same way, right?
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
So that underscore the fact that you have achieved repeatability.
Got it. Got it.
So, and then this one is, I was thinking a little bit in that you use very kind of high level examples to highlight what you are highlighting, the point of the why versus the what. If I were you don't have customers in carbon emissions, right?
No.
If I were you, I would switch the slide out and replace this with a slide that uses real use cases from your enterprise customers.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter climate, it doesn't matter healthcare. Use your real use cases. And that will also tackle, the minute you switch this slide to real use cases, it will start outlining where your real traction is and what you're learning directly from your execution use cases.
Absolutely.
And that will give people the visceral feel of really understanding what is happening in this company.
Got it.
And I think this one is going to change. Yeah. This slide is going to change. The market size slide is going to change. Otherwise, I think the rest of the presentation can be fine. So we will do one more rev in Wednesday's private roundtable. If you can finish all this work by then, Maureen will schedule you for the Wednesday private roundtable, and then we're ready.
Okay, awesome. We'll do that. Okay.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. It's a real pleasure to see how far you've come. And I think we have great things coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ram. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, Rishab, you're up next. You have to unmute.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, great. We are Satlights, so we are trying to solve the issue of broken hiring at startups. Originally intended towards the startups for engineering and UI UX development, but as we explored in our pathway that agencies and actually direct HR contacts of companies can be a really viable option looking at our current conversion rates in terms of calls. So what we deliver is we provide solution of hiring, which is fast, which is cheap. In Indian market, it's about 8.33% to 10%, somewhere around that. And we can, with our solution, deliver precision hires at 3% commission rates and still be very highly profitable. So yeah, so exactly. Why it matters for recruiters? For recruiters, they spend huge amount of time in screening applications when they're delivering applications for companies. So I heard like typically these people spend between 1 week to 2 weeks to screen applications, and for junior applications, they're not even able to look beyond a cursory look at the resume. So it leads to a huge mismatch of talent, first of all, in terms of industry, where talented people are completely overlooked because of certain kind of predisposed notions driven by broken ATS systems and very sketchy and very, so to say, shallow AI algorithms that are run on top of them. So based on that, we are able to deliver people who are not just engineers, but who have whole rounded experience around working in a startup, for example, talking with the customers, working and delivering a solution in 3 days when the time is so short to deliver, not wasting time in a very long kind of planning when the time is short, for example. And for recruiters, it's also beneficial that with the time saved, that they can drive more sales for themselves, focusing more on the sales sides, which is their strength rather than the screening itself. And why it matters for startups is because where I had personal conversations with a lot of founders where they told me with their personal accounts that they spend 4 months, 5 months, 6 months in finding the right kind of person for building their product. Many times going between and even burning money on scams. That was the main issue. So we personally, as a company in Switzerland, had the same issue when we were trying to try agencies in India, which were expensive and they didn't really deliver the startup quality. So what makes us really different is like typical screening algorithms. They maybe look at resumes, maybe look at some keywords. They might do some social media kind of screening, but they don't really look into like the silent people who are constantly working. For example, our screening algorithm looked into the portfolios of these people, and we found out some of those portfolios could be actually a small business or something like that, a store or something like that, a digital store. And these people was self-taught, but completely ignored because the algorithms were looking for technical degrees from these people. And when we gave them assignments to test on real working problems, they were able to deliver almost a real working solution in 3 days.
I want to ask you a question, Rishabh.
Yeah.
These days, given what's going on in the industry,
Yeah.
how can you guarantee that the person who's submitting an assignment is doing it, or just kind of copying it from somewhere, or is AI doing it?
So one thing, in the end, what matters is deliverability. If somebody is using AI to work at my job, I use AI on a day-to-day basis also. So that's just not the real world where I would be working in an organization. I would want my employees to use the right tools to deliver the thing as fast as possible.
But the truth is, there is a lot of stuff out there that you can, if somebody is savvy on where to pick up stuff from, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing the work themselves. They could also be getting it from somewhere.
So let's say we do, first of all, not just the test, we do also one-on-one interviews. So it's also about how we see how they process the problem, So one of the guys, for example, he claimed 98% accuracy of their LLM algorithm for making notes. Okay, so a typical AI algorithm would say, okay, this guy looks great, he can tune the algorithm to the maximum accuracy. So we went through the talk with this person. So we actually found out they never actually even had customers. So actually deeper down in the conversation, it was found that they were just dumping in the garbage and benchmarking against the garbage. So the founders were basically driving the UI UX without actually ever communicating with any kind of customers how some kind of product, their product would even be used. So the entire spending, so they were building the entire product, the entire software without even knowing who the customer was. So,
okay, so let's keep going.
Yeah. So it goes, it's a very thorough analysis on not just.
And is it in-person analysis or is AI doing the analysis? The interviews
So right
and stuff,
now
or AI is doing that?
So right now we're simulating the algorithm manually because I wanted to validate that through my personal experience. But
Okay.
parts of it would be handled by AI slowly and slowly. So in an MVP situation, we will focus on the speed and the deliverability with the minimal investment. But we will slowly and slowly bring in the tech as we gain in more data to train our system to basically deliver that with the tech without compromising on the user experience.
Okay, I'm going to skip through all this and I want to see competition. This is a pitch that I've seen many times at these roundtables. The market is full of recruitment AI solutions.
Yeah.
Where is the competitive analysis slide?
So there's a last, second last, I think. So the biggest advantage is like the industry is still sitting at 8 to 15% CTC. So why we say so? Because we ourselves contacted with the HR people over there, and we got almost like a 60% interest rate in at least getting a deck because they were shocked with 3%.
So I don't see any competition slide.
This one, the commercials, this is where we put.
Yeah, but that's not all, right? You're purely competing on price. What is the state of, how many competitors are there? What is their funding situation? What is their stage? You have to do thorough competitive analysis.
Actually, the thing is we didn't want to do that for the pitch part, but we have the data for that. There is Dove, for example, and a company which is working in the United States or Australia, if I'm not wrong. Then there is JobGather, which is basically spamming the entire LinkedIn right now with job posts every location in the whole world. And there's only a matter of time that they get shut down because they are not focused on the market. We are focused on Bangalore and Bangalore only. And we are actually doing hiring at the same point in time and learning, which is giving us significantly more data than just spamming the LinkedIn.
You have customers already?
We are talking with potential customers this week and next week.
So what, tell me what brings you here? What are you looking for help with?
So our focus is more specifically like what should be our strategy be in terms of next 3 to 4 months, because we made quite a big mistake on the past side. We burned significant sum of money, about 80K, 90K, and we were left with about 10K left. So we had to optimize on the OpEx side and reach certain level of
next 3-4 months you should focus 100% on customers.
So you agree that I'm following the right path on approaching the customers, right?
Yes, wherever you can get customers. If Bangalore is where you are focusing, that's fine. Bangalore has tons of tech talent hiring going on.
Exactly.
The thing that you need to be aware of is that there is competition. This particular pitch I've heard many times, including from companies in India. And so there is one thing that you should remember, given that you're doing this particular business, in any market, if there is an idea that is easily conceived and not terribly difficult to build, there will be lots of players. And that is the state of the union on this particular idea. So you will encounter competition. And when that is the situation where you have a lot of companies working on the same idea and it's easy to replicate. Investors do not like that category.
But I think that was the same situation with Dropbox. Nobody is really using the solutions.
It doesn't matter. I think whatever you do, you're going to have to get to validation and get my advice to you is get lots of traction and see how quickly you can get traction and prove that your solution works and your solution is getting market adoption. That is going to be the differentiator.
Exactly, that was the goal behind it.
So go get customers. So and if you need help in that process, and if you need ongoing guidance, definitely join the premium program. We can certainly work on it.
Yeah, okay.
And you just saw the example of how Bharat and his team have navigated. They did premium, they kind of learned the methodology, they executed, and they got to repeatability and got to significant bulk in revenue. And now it's going to be a lot easier too.
Yeah, that's what we're trying. We're trying to make mistakes fast and learn from them and move as fast as possible. So, I mean, the speed is where we can beat the competitors.
Don't waste time trying to raise money right now.
Okay, that's a great, thank you.
That's not the right place to go. We can talk more. Let me do the next presentation and then we'll have time for who is writing all this stuff in the public chat. This is very bad behavior. I've never seen this behavior before. What is this? You're spamming the conference with all this. Where do you want to go? Aim high, dream big. What is this? Does this look like a place where you're supposed to do that? This is a working session.
This is not by RAIDU. This is not by RAIDU. This is by someone YBKA investment.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, Shiva, go ahead. Let's work on your stuff.
You mentioned RAIDU. That's why I was answering.
Huh?
You said RAIDU before asking about this message.
No,
so
I didn't say RAIDU. I didn't say RAIDU. I said somebody is writing a lot of garbage in the public chat, and they're not supposed to do it. It has nothing to do with RAIDU. RAIDU is what we're going to work on now. Shiva Ganesh from Delaware. Go ahead, Shiva.
Yeah. I'm Shiva. We're working on a product called RAIDU. A lot of regulation-heavy industry companies like healthcare, law firms, and education are hesitant to adopt AI for the reasons being data leak, being compliant, and for various reasons, like majorly being compliance being one of the main reasons. So we built a platform which can keep them safe with AI adoption by doing a real-time protection, real-time redaction. That's the concept we have came up with. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah, the major problem what we have found is we have interviewed around 200 odd CISOs, CTOs, and CEOs of healthcare organizations across US and UK and Middle East. We have found a decent number of like 70% of the audience or interview people were not ready to adopt AI or even encourage any Gen AI application or any AI agentic framework into their organization for the reasons being it's a complete black box. They don't know once they open ChatGPT or Cloud AI to their employees, they don't know, have a visibility, what is getting shared, what data leaks are happening, how much usage is happening, anything except the bill that gets generated every month, like total number of tokens or something. That is the actual problem we want to solve. We want to give a complete visibility of interactions between the team and AI. Also, we are providing a real-time protection between user and an AI with a real-time redaction, data flagging, and even doing a kill switch when any Gen AI or LLM goes into an hallucination or bias or any unintended behavior. Yeah, can you go to the next?
What is what is your background, Shiva?
I have been fractional CTO for many startups.
But you don't have background in healthcare. This is something that you're going into.
No. I was a principal architect for MedPlus. MedPlus is India's second largest. Yeah. I have 16 years of experience, out of which 9 to 10 years are into healthcare in one way or the other.
Okay, great. That's what I wanted to know. Okay.
Yeah. So our market analysis is more on there is an opportunity that is growing in most of the Indian and Southeast Asian countries as well as in the UK. The reason for Indian and Southeast Asian growth is because of heavy growth of health tourism. um, the need of HIPAA and the need of hospitals and health organizations to be compliant is becoming heavy high. And same in the UK and Europe, the Europe AI Act is making every company that is working for the European audience or European companies has to be too much of compliant, and it has to have an explainable AI. So both the countries are lagging a platform or a complete invisibility when they are adopting to AI or Gen AI applications. So that's the segment what we are focusing on basically. And we are kind of gaslighting both sides, the AI consumers, like the enterprises, SMBs, and healthcare organizations, majorly focused on regulated industries, and also AI agent builders, like a lot of startups, every third startup from YC list or any founder, whomever generating is building an AI agent for one or the other purpose. They too do not have any standard for observability and continuous monitoring, because everyone is building an AI agent either on top of as a wrapper for ChatGPT or their own LLM. If they are using any public LLMs like ChatGPT or Cloud, they don't have a control or a visibility layer of what data is actually getting shared, like any PI information or thing. If they are using LLM on their own built trained models, it is not getting monitored whether it is getting into any hallucination or something. So we are providing a complete solution where it gives you a complete visibility of what's the usage looks like, and whenever there is a PII or any sensitive information is getting leaked, it stops, and there is a complete regulation in the AI data usage. For Gen AI applications or AI agents, there is a continuous monitoring stating whether this AI agent and this LLM is keeping up to the standard and not getting into unnecessary modes like hallucinations or biases or anything. Yeah.
And where are you doing this from, Shiva?
Currently, I'm in India. We are moving to Singapore for the Antler cohort. This company is from Delaware. I'll be back probably next year.
Where are you going to be based when you're back in the US? You're going to be based in Delaware?
Hopefully in Bay Area. I'm getting
Bay
family
Area.
this time, so yeah.
I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah. We have currently we have 3 paying customers. We are at 65K ARR. We are just 4 months old, and we built it and sold it, demonstrated, and we are running pilots in 17 enterprises. 9 of them are 500 bed plus hospitals in India, Image Hospital, Omega Hospitals, and everything. We are running pilot because we have to be SOC 2 and HIPAA compliant. We are yet to be there, so that's the case. We have local partnerships with EHR implementers and HIPAA advocates who are also promoting our product to healthcare organizations, like a add-on or a safety tool, like a antivirus or a firewall for their organizations to protect AI misuse and everything. Yeah, this is more of a acquisition strategy. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. This is the validation.
Sorry, you want to spend time on this one or go to the next one?
No. I think I'm just trying to explain. I think if you got a picture, I think we can go to the next slide.
Yeah, I understand where you're going. Okay.
Yeah.
And how are you funded? Is it self-funded so far?
Yeah, it's completely self-funded.
Good. Okay. All right. So the 3 accounts that you have closed, where are they location-wise?
2 of them from US. 1 is from India.
And how long has been the sales cycle there?
We piloted it for 15 days, and then we took time to do the setup because that's our first installations. So within 1 month, we are able to close the deal.
That's not a long sales cycle. That's a very, very fast sales cycle for enterprises.
Yeah, because we kind of, played like regular updates, like how much it is getting protected, real time. So whenever someone types something into the ChatGPT, we redact it and we immediately send a notification to them. Like it's a small teams, like 50-member team or 60-member team. So we immediately send notifications like this person has shared some patient information. This person has shared some
I
image
see.
which has
So
SSL
the
information.
customers that you've been able to close so far are relatively small companies.
Relatively, they are small companies, yes.
Small
But
companies. Okay.
the ticket
All right.
size,
That's
or
fine. That's fine. You just need to get people start to use it so that you can prove value and get the product going. That's fine. And these, you said you talked to 200 CTOs and CIOs and so on, and CISOs in different healthcare organizations in the US, in the UK, Middle East, and so forth. Are they all starting to evaluate the product now?
So the thing is, we have trained a model, or we have a very specific purpose model which identifies PI and redacted. So if we have to test it, we are not going to store the data. We are not going to run the models. We deploy it in their cloud environment itself, so that we don't even have any visibility of the data. So that's the best practice what we want to maintain. So we have converted them into batches, like who showed more interest. We have took them as a 20 first, and then 20. We are a small team of 7 members. Me and my wife, my co-founder, basically, she's ex-Amazon. He's taking care of the operations and post-infusion, and we have a bunch of freshers with us who are really great in their work. So we have 20 selected for the first pilot, out of which we have converted 3. The 17, the pilots are running super great. Everyone is getting real-time updates. They are doing action on their platform that we can evidently see. But that can't be converted because we don't have the SOC 2 and HIPAA certifications with us, which we have to get.
When are you going to get that?
Probably we'll start processing by end of this month or something. It is going to cost us around $10,000 to $20,000. We have that money. That would be our runway. So we don't know whether we have to burn that or get the certification. So we're in a dilemma. That's the case, actually.
So, so if you cannot convert these 17 customers into revenue without that certification, then you have to burn that money. There's no choice, right?
Yeah.
How much revenue
how
much revenue is gated by that certification?
Hopefully it would be anywhere between $300K to $500K USD.
Yeah. So spending 10,000 to get 300 to 500K. Absolutely. You have to do it. You have no choice.
Yeah.
And what time
HIPAA
frame
is going to cost us. The problem is HIPAA is going to cost us a lot, rather than a SOC 2. And it is going to take time. SOC 2 is going to take at least 6 months of time. HIPAA is going to take at least 3 months of time. We have already started the process, but the auditing process will start in next 2 months.
I see. So all this is gated. Now the 300,000 to 500,000 revenue is gated by these 2 certifications.
Yes.
So it's going to take you 6 months to bring in all this cash.
So that's actually, let me ask my first question, to be honest with you. As this is a common problem across regulated industries, we are focusing on healthcare, and the first pilots, we have not really focused on healthcare. We just served every customer who ever showed interest and ready to pilot and ready to pay some money to use the application. The regular VC textbook says pick up a use case, pick up an industry, pick up a region, and go and capture it to test it, validate it, and do this. So if we expand our ICP, stating that every regulated industry has an ICP, and if we reach that, we can open up to much more customers, and we can bring in more sales immediately, like maybe 100K within next 2 months without SOC 2 or HIPAA regulations, because SOC 2 and HIPAA is more needed for companies who are handling the data. We are not handling the data. So few people agreed, yeah, you're not handling the data, you're just providing your service in a cloud. We are owning everything. Such companies, we can get it, but they don't fall under the VC textbook ICP, like healthcare, SMB, or hospitals or something. So that's the first question, ma'am. Should we
So
what
here's
should
one.
be our ICP?
I have a question in that context that will help us answer this question. Are you doing paid pilots or are these free pilots?
The pilots are free. It's
Is
not
there
paid.
a possibility that you can convert them into paid pilots?
Sure, we can, not all of them, but definitely few of them we can convert it. The rest of them we can get an MOU or a LOI kind of thing.
No, what you need is cash. That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
that, for example, if you talk to Bharat, whom you just heard his pitch, right? Because they're a bootstrap company, they didn't do any free pilots. They only did paid pilots. And the value was there. You already have 3 customers that are paying you. So there is some evidence, there is reference customer, there's some evidence that it's working. So so you could turn your, and you have 200, a pipeline of 200. If you could convert that entire pipeline into paid pilots, that will give you the bridge money with which you can do all your certification, and then you can charge the full amounts once the certifications are done. That's one way to bridge this.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you, but I'm little not so confident to
Confident.
take all the load onto us because we are not that much strong. We are already supporting the existing customers. We are running the pilots and we are updating the product. We are just 4 months old. So the kind of load by taking 20 more or 30 more customers is kind of too much heavy for us. Either we have.
You do have 17 pilots underway. So
Yeah, that we built for last 4 months. Probably it will take 1 month. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm just finding reasons to not do that because of some fear on myself, like handling that much data without any backing. That's one thing.
what
Otherwise, I
about those
think
17? Do you feel confident taking those 17?
those 17 are the ones who had said we have to have the SOC 2 or HIPAA. But apart from the 17, we can pick up another 5 and we can say that we can see they can do a paid pilots, not these 17, of course, because they're using it for almost
what
2
I would
months.
do is sort the 200 and find those who are willing to do paid pilots without SOC or HIPAA, and get that, use that, figure out what that's, what are the numbers on that, and I would use that to kind of generate some of your seed cash and validation as well, because if it's a serious pain point, there's obviously interest from these customers to do this. And it sounds like you have got serious interest from customers.
Yeah, we will do that. Definitely. That's.
Then
I mean,
let me answer your second question. Is it okay to expand your ICP? Now, what segment were you thinking of expanding the ICP to that doesn't require HIPAA or SOC?
law firms. Every law firm is regulated, and there is a data leaks that are happening left and right. They all are using ChatGPT and Cloud A, like public LLMs and different Gen AI applications to write depositions, letters, and all that stuff. Where they are not redacting any PII information.
Have you talked to them?
Yes.
So you have interest from some?
Yes. I have interest from a minimum of at least $10,000 per month.
$10,000 per month. And how many of these leads do you have if you were to go ahead with it?
I would say at least I have 2 who are damn sure that can be converted within next a month or 2.
Okay. All right. So as far as I'm concerned, you should go ahead. And the reason I think you should go ahead is because you have this situation which has to be bridged, which is you have to get HIPAA, you have to get SOC. There's no choice.
Got it.
And you're going to need the runway to get those things in place. And if catering to law firms gives you the cash with which to fund that work, there's no problem with taking those on. Okay. And it's even if you need to take 10 law firms to, on just to get the cash, and customers cannot hurt, number one, and number two, yes, you want to do this regulated industry with SOC and HIPAA, and that's going to be your primary ICP. But I think it's a perfectly okay strategy if you need immediate cash to do law firms who don't need those certifications to generate money, and it's perfectly okay. As far as I'm concerned, it's perfectly okay. You're not going to VCs right now anyway, so I wouldn't, don't
We're
go
not
to VCs.
going to VCs, but we are going to Antler cohort September, Singapore 1. That will start the
Antler,
end of September.
look,
Yeah.
Antler is going to ask you to not do this, most likely.
Yeah. Yes, that's the conflict what we have.
And I'm telling you, overrule that. Don't
Okay,
listen.
got it.
That's my point. So Antler is going to give you some parroting of the VC playbook.
Yeah.
And 1 million by 1 million doesn't parrot the VC playbook. 1 million by 1 million is very pragmatic and very much focused on whatever it takes to be creative about bootstrapping and getting you to a place where you are really strong when you go into VCs. And I'm very sure, just listening to you, based on my assessment at the moment, I'm very sure that we can get you to a very, very strong position. But in the meantime, you have to bridge this gap, this cash gap.
Understood.
And you have already brought me the solution, a very creative solution of how to bridge that gap. Absolutely take it. Overrule Antler's feedback.
Got it.
Why
Got
are
it.
you going to Antler? You shouldn't go to Antler.
I have been the CTO. I am stepping into the CEO. So I'm a bit hesitant on few things. So Antler tag and name can open us some doors.
I don't
That's what my thought
agree
process
with that.
was.
I don't agree with
Okay.
that. How much, what is the equity situation?
They have a 125K for 10% at
Whoa,
1.25
that's a
million
terrible
valuation.
deal. That's a
Yeah,
terrible deal.
and then a follow-up of $1 million with the follow-up of $1 million at a 2:1 ratio.
It's a terrible deal. It's a terrible deal. Have you already committed?
No, not committed. Until we step
I wouldn't do
into
it.
Antler program on September 22nd, it won't
I
initiate.
wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do 10% equity for 125K is a very bad deal. Whatever you need to learn, we can teach you without taking any equity. So
yeah,
I
I'll
really
be
would
joining
not.
the premium program sometime this week. So we have spent all the bootstrap money. We have the revenue from the customers, which we are using it for runway. And so, ma'am,
Let's use the
one
law
serious
firm runway. Let's use the
we
law
have one
firm
serious
runway and we
question.
can figure all this out.
Yeah,
Go
got
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
Because of me being fractional CTO, whenever I reach out to my ex employee network or ex company network or where I have worked for with the CEOs and CTOs, we have three requirements. One is the healthcare AI agents. Let it be voice AI agents or basically healthcare organizations or hospitals asking us to build custom LLMs to train on their own data. None of the public available LLMs are working on enterprise data. Every hospital has huge data. They want us to train the LLM and build some agents for them. That's one ask, and they have a pretty good confidence on me or a product because of the association what I had. And the CEOs, CTOs have asked us to build something like MCP, the Model Context Protocol for Cloud AI, because they all are SaaS companies. They want an easy way to become AI ready. So technically speaking, we have the capability to build it. I know I'm being a toddler in terms of founder mentality, but I'm just asking the question open. We have the capacity of building this application perfectly, and we already have early adapters who are ready to use this application. So if I go in a conventional VC way, I have to focus on one product, one type of an ICP, one type of a region and do it. Whereas every day the mailbox, every day my WhatsApp is saying, build it, sell it, grow, forget about VC, forget about money and everything, but build products and capture the market. Because a jewelry shop called and he said, can you build me a AI voice agent which can make calls to my customers? and he's ready to pay 7 rupees, 10 rupees per call, where AI calls his own customer in India and records it. If I can do that, if I'm capable of doing it, we already have a product which exclusively built for that guy. If we make it as a product, let's say after 5 years or 10 years, we'll be recording at least 10 million Indian voices, dialects, accents stored in our database, which can be used for further research and all that. But if I go after VC, I can't do any of this, or at least the textbook VCs whom I am able to reach. So
Yeah.
my question to you is,
that is a question that you have to answer for yourself. Is that what kind of a business do you want to build? Do you want to build a VC business, or do you want to build a bootstrap business? Bootstrap business allows you a lot more flexibility. VC business does not. VC business is you have to follow a particular playbook. We can guide you in both directions, whichever direction you want to go.
I'll join and I'll reach you out.
There are pros and cons, but there is. But at least I will resolve one thing for you right now, is that do start selling to the law firms and bringing the cash in. You know, if it's a question of if they're paying you $10,000 a month for the same product effectively, minus the SOC and HIPAA, then get as many of those customers as you can handle, or get the cash to hire more to be able to handle more of them. And maybe the legal business becomes a substantial business for you in itself, in its own right. And do both businesses, both the healthcare and the legal. And then you have you heard Bharat's pitch, right? 80% or 85% of the companies are CPG, but he has other use cases. He has some finance companies, he has some other types of companies that are also, so basically if you're getting companies that want to pay for what you have currently without having to go build more stuff, that is a very good situation for a bootstrap company. You want to take that money, and it's not like you're building a different product. The legal one is an easy answer. The other question that you're asking is a more complicated question. That is a more serious decision. This decision is a very obvious answer to me, is that this 125K that you want to take from Antler in exchange of 10% of equity, it's just 10 customers.
Exactly.
And it's actually not even 10 customers. It's 10 customers in 1 month, and you have that money without parting with any equity. Why would you part with that kind of equity? That equity is precious. Okay?
Got it. Thank you.
So rest of it we're going to talk in the roundtables. Okay, folks, that was that. I think I'm going to very quickly run you through the how to use 1M1M. I think Shiva already understands how to use 1M1M, and you can join either premium or basic, whatever you want. Premium is our full acceleration program. So if you want mentorship, premium is your solution. Bharat is in premium. You can start with basic if you're just trying to learn the methodology. Basic will also do it for you, but then you're on your own without the mentorship. Either way is fine, just figure it out. You can always upgrade from basic to premium. That's pretty much it. We have free roundtables coming up August 14th, 21st, 28th. So 3 more this month. Book your slot if you need a slot. Maureen will schedule you. If you have questions about the program after this discussion, you can ask Irina at 1Mby1M.com. Irina Patterson is on our team. And that is all. If anybody has any other question, please feel free to ask. We do have a couple of more minutes to answer questions. Anybody? You're also welcome to introduce yourselves in the public chat if you like. If you're planning to pitch at a follow-on session, often people come and listen once and then pitch on the next session, or listen a couple of times before pitching. That's fine too. You're very welcome to introduce yourselves. And if not, we are done for today. It was a wonderful, wonderful discussion, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Maureen, for coordinating with him.